sunny morning in the greenhouse. A little bit warmer this morning outside too, which is really nice. We're going to do a couple of things today. We're going to look back at our onions and leeks that we sowed a couple of weeks ago. These are our leeks here. We sowed these on January the 6th. So what does that put us today? We're about 2.5 weeks, I guess, from sowing. And you can see they're growing very, very well. We got a really great crop here of leeks. Now, what we're going to do with these leeks like a good long growing season. So we've got them started already. They're growing along nicely. They're going to stay in this tray until we transplant them into the garden. But what we want to do now is keep them in a nice sunny spot indoors. We want to keep them cool, and we want to just keep them manageable. We really don't want them to get any taller than this. So what we do now through now until the time we can get them out into a cold frame is we just give them a little haircut. Now I'm just nipping these off. If you want it to be really efficient, you can snip these little bits off and just throw them into a salad, sprinkle them on a sandwich, whatever you wanted. We're just going to keep them trimmed so the plants don't get too tall and floppy. Nice thing about onions and leeks is that they're a monocot, so they're not going to grow 2 leaves and then start branching. This is what they do. So by trimming these, we're just stopping that first leaf from getting too long, and more will start to grow from the base. And this way we keep them nice and tidy, easy to manage. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with using the trimmings and eating them. So there we go. And we'll just do this probably maybe every week or so until we're ready to get these out into the cold frame, which, hard to know exactly when. We'll try to get them out there in March because we want to plant these sort of early in April as we can work the soil. So that's the stage we're at with our leeks and onion seedlings. We'll put them up out of the way. As we're watering them now, we're giving them a little bit of fertilizer as well. Remember that the soilless mixes we use have no nutrients in them, so we have to add that. And if we don't add that once our plants are growing, then they can be weak and very spindly. So we do start adding some fertilizer to that, and we water them to get them good and strong. Just gonna tuck these. I thought these were nice. This is Pipiastrum papilio right here, coming into bloom. It's a species Amaryllis, and this is one of its hybrids. This is Mystica, just blooming today in the greenhouse. Really cool. So
turn Mystica.
Which way can you see it better that way? Maybe this. Very cool. Some of my favorite Amaryllis, these Papilio hybrids. The Papilios I grow them myself in the greenhouse. It takes about 3 seasons to get a blooming size bulb. But anyway, enough about those. We're going to look at another couple of techniques today for sowing seed. Most of my seed orders came in this week, so I've got lots of seed to sow. And we're going to look at a couple of different methods. First one is the baggie method. So we're going to look at that. And using the baggie method is a great way of keeping small amounts of seed, sowing seed. If you've got old packets of seed around, you can sow a little pinch to see what the germination is going to be like. Nothing more frustrating than sowing an old pack of seed, getting and waiting and have no germination. Doing the baggie method, you can test germinate seed, see if it's worthwhile. Other thing that it's really good for is when you've got a small amount of rare seeds or seeds you know are slow to germinate, the bagging method works really well. So we're going to do a couple of things to go along with the bagging method. And I'm just going to plug this in behind me here. Make sure we got this thing plugged in for the next step. All right. So the bagging method's pretty easy. You can do a lot of seed in the smallest space. Get a Ziploc bag, sort of medium-sized Ziploc bags from the dollar store. Good quality paper towel. Some echoes. Is that helping? Does that make any difference there at all? Just with that. Oh. What if I do that? Does that sort of take that echo away? I can always try moving forward a little bit here and just. I'm going to have to readjust the camera a little bit. That might help a little bit there. All right, so we're doing the bagging method. So you take your Ziploc bag here. You got your paper towel. If you take a paper towel these days and just fold it in half, it fits right in the Ziploc bag. So what we're going to do, we're going to set that up, but we're also going to do another technique that is really important if you have seeds with a really hard seed coat. So sometimes you'll get seeds in things like hibiscus will behave that way. The butterfly pea will behave that way. And canna lilies are notorious for needing some pre-treatment before we do any seed sowing. Canna lily seeds are extremely hard coated. So we need to do something called scarification before we germinate, try to get the seed to germinate. And what scarification is basically damaging of the seed coat. So I'm going to get these canna lilies out. And because you don't get many seed in a package, we're going to scarify, then we're going to do bagging method. So you can see that canna lily seeds are very hard, round seeds. They're quite large, so they're pretty easy to manage. But the seed coats are extremely hard, and it takes a long time for moisture to break them down so water can penetrate the seed coat. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed it up. Now, you could do this with a few different ways. You could use a nail file. You could use a nail file. You could use sandpaper. There's a lot of different methods. Laura's, it's in the black bag, big pocket. Laura's going to grab the nail file. I'm just going to show you that. You need to just find a way to grind down the seed coat. So the canna seeds are a good seed coat a good seed to give an example to. I'm going to grab that. So you can use just a regular nail file. If you've got files like actual hardware files, metal files, they work well too. And really what you want to do is we want to get a little portion of the seed coat ground down enough so that we expose the seed embryo inside. So with the canna lilies, I can actually hold them with a pair of pliers here, and it works really well this way. Hold them there, and then you can just file down the seed coat. Now, it's not going to be able to see it, But, I mean, I could file here, and it would probably take me about 5 minutes a seed to get through that, because I just did that and wiped it, and you can't even see that I did the seed coat. So with big seeds like this, I bring out the big guys, and I put a grinding wheel on a Dremel tool, get the Dremel tool going, and then I just very gently grind into the seed. And very quickly, if you can look, I don't know if I can show this, Laura, or not, but you can see that I have ground the seed down and exposed the white seed embryo within the seed. Can you get it? Can you get a little? Sort of. See it. Anyway, it's there. I can see the white of the seed embryo in underneath the seed coat now. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to grab the next one, hold it snug, and do the same thing. All right, that's that one done. Do the same thing there. See the embryo inside the seed. I don't know if a kitchen grater would be fine enough. The fine one for zesting? I don't think so. I don't think it would be strong enough. I think you really need like a hardware file or a good strong nail file. But I tell you, for doing a number of seeds, the speed of the little Dremel tools works exceptionally well. If you just have a drill, you can get the small grinding attachments. For a drill, and use them on that as well. Not a whole lot different, but these little hobby tools are really handy for a lot of things. And we can get through that seed coat of these guys so quickly that we can do it right here live. Get through that. There we go. Sophie says she uses a serrated steak knife very carefully. That would be a challenge. I would be afraid to use that. I find that actually the Dremel tool is really, really safe. But anything that can get you through the seed coat is what you want to do. Now, we've got that part done. We can handle those seeds in a couple of different ways. In some cases, we can put those seeds into water, into a cup of water, let them soak, and they'll soak up water very, very quickly and start to germinate quickly within a few days. We could sow them into pots, but with these things, I kind of like, if I only have a few seeds, like I have 8 seeds of this, I want to make sure that I get 8 seedlings if I can. So doing the baggie method is a great way to keep an eye on those seeds. So we've got our baggie set up. We've got our paper towel set up. We're going to take those 8 canna seeds. We're going to drop them in here. We're going to evenly space them on the paper, on the paper towel. Then I'm going to close the paper towel. Now, the next step, and I'm just going to step off camera for 1 second here. Our next step is to get some water, and we're going to wet this paper towel down. So I'll get rid of all of this stuff I don't want to get wet. We're going to wet the paper down. Now, I just took some water out of a watering can, so it's got a little bit of leaf debris in it, but you get the idea. You get the paper towel nice and wet, and then in turn, the seeds are in there, and they're going to start absorbing moisture as well. So we take our Ziploc bag open, we take our seeds, I should say, and we're going to slip them right into the Ziploc bag. There we go. Then we're going to seal the Ziploc bag up. And there we go. That is all we need to do. Now we've got 100% moisture in there. There's lots of humidity because we've sealed it right up. You don't have to water these again. And you just leave them out like this. Now the beauty of doing it this way is it saves a lot of space for pots of soil. It makes it easy to monitor the seeds to see if they're germinating. What I could have done is I could have put a few drops of bleach in with the water, and that way you know you've got sterile water in there. You could use distilled water too if you wanted to, anything like that. But a few drops of bleach into a liter of water does exactly the same thing. It'll stop any algae growth if they're in here for a long time. And that's all we have to do. Now, what we do with that, those can sit out on a table. They can sit piled up in a stack. Then what you need to do every day, you just take them out, hold them up to the light, and you can see if a seedling has started to germinate. And if a seedling has started to germinate, you very simply open the Ziploc bag, peel apart the layers of the paper towel. And if you use a good quality paper towel, it should come apart fairly easily. Get yourself a pair of tweezers, and then you can go into the bag, get that seedling out that has started to germinate, and pot it up. You don't leave the seed in here for long. You check them every day. Once they've germinated, they come out and get potted up. And that way you're only potting up the ones that germinate. Saves you a lot of room, saves you a lot of potting soil. When you're doing these in the house, this is a great way to do it. We talked last week about stratification, putting them outside for the winter. And if you've got seeds that need stratification, this can simply go into the vegetable keeper of your refrigerator for a set number of weeks. And because they're wet and they have the cold, that takes place of winter sowing and that takes care of the stratification or chilling period that some seeds need. So it's a really, really effective and easy method if you're doing small amounts of seed for your own garden. Works super well. I know Sophie, who's watching, has been doing this for years. And it's really a great way to do small numbers, rare stuff, things you don't have a lot of seed of. And it's a great room saver and resource saver, really, because you're not using much soil or pots or space or anything like that. So, do we have any questions popping up this week, Laura?
Could the seed be left in the paper towel and just moved into a growing pot to grow through the paper towel?
I have done that before. I have taken the seed, and where I've got a lot germinated at one time, actually taken the seed out of the envelope. You know, you've got your wet packet of seed, slipped the whole thing out of the envelope, taken it apart, opened it up, and then individually transplanted the seeds out, or actually just taken that wet piece of paper towel, trimmed it down, and put it right into a pot of soil, sprinkled some grit or vermiculite on top, and allowed it to just germinate through. The one thing you have to be careful of in that situation is if you're using really strong paper towel, it may not break down fast enough for the little seedlings to break their roots through, and the roots can get strangled. So you do need to be aware of that. It may not work for everything. Now, if these canna lilies were all to germinate at once, they'd be a big, strong root. They'd manage it fine. But if you were doing something very small, you might want to catch the seedlings individually and do that so they don't get strangled by the really good paper towel. But other than that, yeah, you can do it that way.
That's the only question.
Only question for today? All right. I guess we'll wrap it up then. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Growing.